to the field. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 115 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
I am doing good. Why do you always have to talk like William Shatner?
Because I feel like it's my Canadian right to talk like William Shatner. And also, sometimes I have no idea if you're paying attention or not.
Oh, sorry. Can you carry on? I'm just trying to get Giulio the link.
Yes. So we are live. We are super excited. We're going to be having Giulio Caravatta live on the show with us today from BC Lions training camp. And as I say that, he has joined us. I'm going to bring him in. The color analyst for the BC Lions, Giulio Caravatta. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm sorry about that. I was waiting for my computer to get the link, but I'll just use my phone if that's okay.
That works perfect for us.
You look just dashing as ever.
There's not much I can do with this face that's going to help me out. So I'll just go with what I got.
You look great. How was your winter?
It was good. Yeah, it's I don't know. I have a tougher time every year with the winter. It's I hate it. It gets dark early. Yeah. But anyways, I'm glad it's football season. Let's put it that way.
You know what? We live, as you can see behind me, we live in Calgary. So winters here are just, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like no more 40 belows. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hear you. It's nice.
So you're up in Kamloops.
Yes.
How is training camp going for the BC Lions?
It's going well. It's a little unusual this year. I won't lie, because the Lions got their early preseason game, so they're playing on Monday. So really, the veterans have only been here a week.
Wow.
Rookies have been here 10 days. Usually, Saturday would be an inter-squad game, and then the following week you're going to get your game. So for some of these guys, it's a very small window, to prove yourself, right? So. The game on Monday is going to be big for a lot of these young players that are trying to make a name for themselves. So I came up I'm going to be here for 3 practices. Then I'm going to go home and then go to the island on Sunday, get ready for the game on Monday, and then come up for the whole week next week. And really kind of be able to dive into a lot of the stuff. But it's been good the last few days getting a feel and a handle on the Lions and their rookie and the rookies that have impressed to this point.
Nice. Now, is there any rookies I know it's been a short little window, but has there been any rookies that have really stood out for you?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think obviously Jackson Finley. I think him being a high draft pick. Lions traded up to get him. He's looked good. They have a young receiver, Jared Gibson, that has looked good. Jermaine Jackson, who they talked about, has had a little bit of a stint in the NFL, has looked very good, as far as a receiver and as a returner. He's really got explosive, quick hops. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans itself out. It's always difficult to kind of get a gauge on the running backs because, when you have the they're not allowed to tackle, and it's but there's a couple of guys there that are that got good resumes coming in here. Jason Huntley's one of them. Jordan Terrell is another one that was here last year. Another big guy, Xander Horvath, is a guy that he's like 6'3", 230, very unusual for a tailback.
Wow.
He's looked big and strong, but again, the training camp is one thing, getting it and doing it, when it's, and even in preseason, but I'm trying to say that when the lights go on and you're playing someone different, it's going to be interesting to see how some of those guys pan themselves out. So, yeah, so for the most part, those guys, I'm always interested, too, guys, in getting to look at some of the guys that have come back after their first year, whether it's
Right.
been on a roster or a young guy that played a little bit on the roster and has come back and had a full off season to kind of prepare themselves for another another run at it. And there's a couple of guys, Ronald Kent Jr., one a defensive back that is a little bit bigger. Jordan Perryman looks good as a defensive back. Mike Smith, who was a linebacker who I think he saw maybe a couple of games on the active roster, but was on the practice roster for most of the year. They really like him. Christophe Beaulieu, the safety that they drafted last year, he looks fantastic.
Awesome.
So again, all through practice, some of these guys jump out at you, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when the lights come on for real.
Now, obviously, we got Nathan Rourke in shape, looking good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no question that Nathan wasn't happy with the way I think the season went last year. Nobody was.
Yeah, of course.
But I think, you never have to question Nathan's commitment to being the best that he possibly can be. Like, I mean, he just puts so much time and effort into his craft that, and then you add in the motivation that he wants to prove, that he's the Nathan Rourke that, we saw before he went down to the NFL. So he's put a lot of work into it. He looks very good. I think, his relationship with Buck Pierce, they've obviously met, constantly through the off season, and he looks very comfortable running his system. And I think a lot of players are excited about the system. And, and now we're just going to have to wait and see and see how it's executed when it happens for real.
Looking forward to it. Jake, you want to touch on that coach quarterback?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously for a first time head coach quarterback combo with Nathan Rourke and Buck Pierce, kind of what are the expectations of that offense in comparison to what we've been seeing the last couple of years with Missimic running plays with VA as the main quarterback?
Well, I think obviously what you saw, you're going to see it wouldn't be exactly the same, but you're going to see a pretty good variation of what you saw in Winnipeg with, Buck's not going to, he's not creating a new offense. He knows what he knows. He's comfortable doing. Sure, there's going to be some new nuances, and that's something that evolves with every offensive coordinator. Whenever they go into the offseason, they're trying to create and trying to get new looks and new formations and new matchups, all those kinds of things. So the overwhelming consensus is that everyone's super excited about running this offense. Like, it's a little bit different than what Jordan McSimic ran. They're a little bit more, there's a lot more motion. They run a little bit more east-west. It's going to be exciting. And I think too, like, and again, this isn't any disrespect towards anybody, but when you have a former quarterback as your coach and coordinator, I think they see the game the way that you see the game. And that's not to say that the coordinator has to have played quarterback, but you know what I mean? Like, sometimes there's a real good synergy there because they see and feel what you know and what you see in a game. It's hard sometimes for a quarterback to explain something that happens in a game that unless you've been behind the center and seen it happen for real, it's hard sometimes for someone to, understand it.
Oh, so, for sure.
Again, like, the benefit of having a Dave Dickinson as a head coach, he knows, he's been there. He's thrown bullets for real. He knows what it's like. And I'm anticipating that this relationship between Buck and all of his quarterbacks is going to evolve. He's very, very, the first few days, I have to admit, it's a different feel for the Lions in practice and how they practice and his expectations. And anytime you bring a new coach and a new staff, even for the veteran players that have been here, there is a certain level of intensity that you go into every practice because you now have to reprove yourself, really. Buck Buck might know you through reputation and watching you on film, but when he sees you for real and sees how you interact and sees the whole package, he's evaluating, right? So I think everybody is aware of that, and that adds a little bit more, angst to training camp because you're trying to reprove yourself, which is a good thing.
Yes, definitely. Now, how has Nathan been with the media? Of course, there was the big story, the big snub. How has he been with the media?
Well, to be honest with you, other than I think Moj and I have been the only two guys up here. I think there's been a local television station that's been here. But Nathan is an intense young man who he cares about the football part so much, and I think that he's going to evolve. He's the face of the franchise, and I think he understands that, and he knows that what comes with that, and that's his interaction with the media. People want a piece of him.
Yes.
But Nathan, he's going to be fine. He understands it. I think it's going to be one of those things that is not going to be an issue moving forward. I think he gets it.
Now, a big concern of ours last year was the offensive line. Have they made enough changes there? Have they made some adjustments?
Well, again, that's getting Dejon Allen, I think, from Toronto was a big step in direction. Yeah, like he's got a little bit of an ailment. I haven't seen him practice the last couple of days. They're being very cautious with him.
Oh, okay.
So he hasn't practiced the last couple of days. But overall, I really like what they're doing up front. Now, they're given their ratio and how they can use their ratio. It looks like they're going to be able to play 3 Americans on the offensive line. And I don't know for sure whether they're going to do that, but it's definitely going to be an option for them. So one of the guys that, Jarrell Broxton comes back, obviously, at left tackle.
Yeah.
I think Michael Couture and Tyler Packer are going to battle there for that center spot. Michael Couture looks like he's been taking a lot of the first team reps to this point. George Una, who was their first round draft pick from last year, who was on the practice roster, he didn't play very much, but he's been given a very good look at right guard. Oh. And then they brought in David Foku in free agency, who spent some time with the Lions and then was with Edmonton and now is back. And I think he's another guy that provides a tremendous amount of experience. And he's been in the league, understands the game. One of the guys that has really jumped out at me is Corey Woodruff, who was here last year. He's put on a little bit of weight, but man, oh man, he's been moving bodies. They've been very happy with him at that left guard spot.
Nice.
So yeah, so they look like they've got some good depth. There's a lot of young guys up there that are trying to. Cliff Schluger, who was here, he's played guard, he's played tackle. That versatility is something that's going to be vital too, right? Because those guys that are going to be on the or non-starters, but are going to be required to get. They're going to that versatility is really going to come into play there. So I like what they've done up front. They've got a couple of guys like Taran Hunt, who's a big kid who plays left tackle. He moves very well for a big guy. I know that they like all of their draft picks. They're very tough and physical. That's kind of what they were after. So they've got some guys that I think they really think have really bright futures, which is good. But that front five should be, I think, much improved. I think going forward, and we all know that the game's won in the trenches, whether it's offense or defense. The defensive line, I think, is improved here. So that's another area that I think that they're really gonna benefit from.
Very, very cool. Now we have James Butler come back.
Yeah,
rejoining the Lions. I read an article, actually. I think it was 3 Down Nations just put out an article. They did a big interview with him. Your thoughts on him coming back? What does he look like?
Yeah, he looks good. All their running backs have looked good to this point, right? Like James obviously has a resume, right? He's proven
Yes.
what he can do in this league, and they like what he does out of the backfield. Clearly, Buck Pierce's offense has shown when it was in Winnipeg that reliance on being able to run the football.
Yeah.
And so they want to be able to do that. And James is clearly a guy that is capable of that. And not only is he capable of running, but he is so critical as those other aspects too. You want to be able to catch the football out of the backfield, but probably most importantly, you want to be able to, you got to be able to block. You got to know where your assignments are. Those are critical things when you're protecting your quarterback. And James is very good at that. Now, they also have some good young guys come in. Jason Huntley's one of them. Jordan Terrell is a guy who was here last year that has shown progress. And then Xander Horvath is a kid that they signed that was drafted in the NFL by the Chargers. He's 6'3", 230. You don't normally see a tailback that big, but he's he's shown in practice that he can be a problem. So all these guys are going to get an opportunity on Monday to show themselves, and it'll be interesting to see who emerges out of that group.
Looking forward to it. Now, of course, offense always gets all the glory and the spotlight, but defense wins championships. At least that's what they keep telling me. What do we have to look forward to on defense? Anybody stand out?
Well, yeah, no, they Sione Tuihemi and Matthew Betts, they look very good. Betts looks like he's super motivated, and now with a full, obviously, off season and training camp, you know what you're going to get out of him. Dwayne Hendricks is a guy they signed in free agency. He was with Hamilton and also with Toronto. He's very good. He looks good. Big body guy that can push the pocket. Christian Covington, Thibaut Debaye, Jonah Tavai has looked very, very good. So they have some guys. Kamiko Toure is a guy that has looked good off the edge. He had a little bit of a stint in the NFL. So again, they look like they have got some pieces there that can really complement what they had last year. So I'm excited. Mike Benavides has really been on this team about, playing aggressive, playing fast. They go after the football. They want to create turnovers. So that front group looks like, they're going to be a handful, which is what they need. And then the linebackers, I love the signing of Micah Alway. I've been a big fan of his.
Huge.
Since he's gotten in the league. I don't have to tell you guys in Calgary, man. He's a very intense young man who plays the game fast, and he's the kind of guy that he's going to hit you in the mouth if you get a chance. He brings a little bit of an edge to him, like he plays nasty. And I think that's something that this team lacked a little bit. And so I'm excited to see what he does. And then obviously getting Josh Woods back from injury, they don't, as far as the timeline goes, I'm not 100% on what they feel. I see him working out on the side. He looks good.
Okay.
So I think they're going to progress the way that, they're not going to try to rush him into something that he's not ready for. So that's good. But Mike Smith, Jr. is the guy that they had signed onto the practice roster. He played a little bit last year, not much, only a couple of games, but they really like him too. So their linebacking position, Adam O'Clair is another guy they signed in free agency that he's got a little bit of an ailment, nothing serious. They're, again, being very cautious. But, he's going to add that experience. He's been in the league. So I really like their linebacking crew. I know a lot of people going into the season were wondering about that nickel or the Sam linebacking spot. That's something that I think is evolving. Tyler Coyle has been playing there. They like him, but one of the guys that is really, really impressed coming into his second year, I think, is Christophe Beaulieu, the safety, the young man out of Laval. He looks very, very comfortable back there, and he plays. Sometimes when you see a kid especially at safety, there's certain guys, and I remember Baron Miles was like this. There's certain guys that just have a knack of knowing where the ball is going to be. They just have that kind of get in the way. He has that ability, but he also is super smart and bigger, likes to tackle. So I think there's a chance that you might see him play a little bit of nickel, and
Yeah.
then Jack Finley, who looks very good as their draft, he could play a little bit of safety. So they've got a little bit of wiggle room,
Yeah,
I think, with guys that is really going to have an impact on that defense. So, as I said, the Ronald Kent Juniors, the Jordan Perrymans, some of these guys that are coming into their second year that have made that step and look a little like much better because they have that experience under their belt.
Of course.
They're going to have an impact on that defense. So I'm excited. Mike Benavides is a very good defensive coach. He's been very, very successful wherever he's been as a defensive coordinator. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to this defense and the identity that he's going to establish with that team.
That's awesome. And I heard Sean White is going to continue as the kicker.
Yep.
He's going to try to beat Mr. Louis.
I think if you're a kicker in this league, I think you need to realize that you're not going to get the Louis.
No.
You're battling for second, I think. So no, but Sean looks great. I mean, I think what was he, 50 of 53 last year? I mean, his level of consistencies, brings a lot of comfort to BC Lions fans when they know they get into that inside the 50, what you're going to get from him. Now,
Yeah.
Carl Meyer is going to take over as the punter.
Okay.
Goff is not here, so Carl is a global and a guy that has a tremendous leg. Like when you watch this guy kick a ball, you're like, holy cow. But I think again, last year it would have been, if he has 6 punts, 3 of them are going to be bombs. 3 of them might be, well, now that level of consistency is, where you want it, right? You're getting 5 and 6 out of 6 that are good punts. So I think he's really benefited from the year of experience. So that's somebody that, I'm sure is going to impress people because, as I said, man, he's got a leg on him. And then when he gets a hold of one, man, oh man, it's impressive.
Yes. Jake, any questions?
No, honestly, the only other question I had was about Mike Benavides, and Julie, you already mentioned the everything there. So
right on.
And of course, the owner kicks it out of the park again with our home opener. I just about fell out of my seat when I saw it. How cool is that?
I'll tell you a little story about that. So when I was at practice on Tuesday, it was my first day here. I drove up early in the morning. I was here for 8:30. So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden at 9:30, they were all practicing, and at 9:30, all of a sudden they all came together at the middle of the field, and I was kind of wondering, oh, maybe something happened and he wants to address the team or whatever, and then all of a sudden, the music starts playing, and I looked at Matt Baker, the communications director, and said, "What's going on?" He's going, "Oh, he just announced who the opening act is." I said, What do you I totally forgotten about that. Today was the day. I said, "Who is it?" He goes, "Well, listen to the music." And it was Snoop Dogg. So they brought the team together to announce that he was the act, and then they started playing his music while they were warming
that's
up.
awesome.
I thought it was cool, and like you, I was blown away. And again, I can't say enough about what Amar Doman does for the and for the community and everything that he just is constantly trying to do things that are going to get people down to the games and involved. And again, hits a home run with this. I know there's going to be a lot of excitement. I'm super excited to see him.
Yeah.
Big fan of not only his music, but just the whole person. I think he's awesome. So it's going to be, and I know he's a big football fan too. So
Huge.
It'll be fun to have him in the city and performing before the game.
As I said to Jake, that's almost worthy of flying in for that one.
Oh, that's a quick jaunt,
right?
But it's only an hour flight. We've done it before.
I'm sure you could get a good deal.
Yes. If not, we drive.
Yeah, you drive too. That's another beautiful drive. I've driven that. That's nice.
It is. Jake says no. We drove down, I think it was 2011.
No. Yeah, probably 2011,
2011 for the Western semifinal in November. We decided to drive down in an old Dodge Caravan.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Going there wasn't a problem. Coming home, we
Ran into a few problems. Did you?
just a couple.
But it's a great story. It's a great story.
it is. It's our claim to fame. Julio,
There you
thank
go.
you so much. Before I
Yes.
forget, our friend of the show and your friend Rod Peterson wanted me to say hi. How you doing?
Oh, you make sure you say hi to Roddy. He's one of my favorite people. Love him.
He's
And,
good
awesome.
friend.
He's
Good
a
friend.
good man.
Yes, we will probably see you when you come out to Calgary. You travel with the team, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
We will have to make a point of buying you dinner when you're out this way.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I come to Calgary, there's really only one place I go.
Where's
Spalum-
that?
Spalombos.
Columbo's guy. I love my Tony Spallettini.
Oh,
Yes.
it's delicious.
I not only do I get my sandwiches, I get them to go too because I take them and eat them on the plane. So
That's awesome.
I'm an easy date.
That's a cheap date too. Every time
Oh,
Rod comes in, he wants to go to the keg.
No, give me Mama's meatloaf or the meatball or the special. You can't go wrong.
There you go. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time. Enjoy the rest of training camp, and we'll probably touch base through the season.
Anytime, guys. Enjoy it. Have a
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Take
Thank
care.
you so much, Julio.
Julio Caravatta. What a great guy.
What a great guy to be able to spend half hour of his time just talking with us. I mean, obviously he's passionate about it. We're passionate about it, and it's just
I actually am now super excited. Like I'm just like, okay, let's play football.
well, it's funny because honestly, it's been one of those things where we watched, my brain went blank. We watched so much hockey, and we've got the NHL playoffs. That's like, okay, like football's coming. But now talking with Julio and honestly, what we're trying to plan behind the scenes and our guest, I believe it's next week.
Next week we have the voice of the Calgary Stampeders, Mark Steven without an S.
Mark Steven on the show. Like it's one of those things that's like it's building that excitement in me. I forgot that there's a game on Monday. Like it's a preseason game. It's available on CFL Plus.
Yes,
but like I'm literally I had pulled up my calendar because I was like, what am I working? I'm working mornings on Monday. That means I can watch the game.
I'm off on Monday. Maybe we should get together and watch that game. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, well, no, I have to work in the morning, but I don't. That's my swing shift, so I have to stay up anyways.
Oh, there you go.
So,
there
yeah.
you be. I think it's a daytime game. I don't think it's an evening game.
Oh, is it?
I'm not sure. You know what?
Because it's a long weekend, isn't it? It's the long
It
weekend.
is. It's the long weekend.
So it's probably a midday game.
It could June's. No, well, that's
2 p.m.
Is it 2 p.m. in your
2
daytime?
p.m. our time, and I'm day, so I'll watch it at work.
There you go. Oh, CFL's happening, buddy. And just to touch on what Jake was talking about, we had BC Lions. We're going to have the voice of the Calgary Stampeders reaching out to Edmonton Elks to see who we can get from there. We're also going to hit Saskatchewan. We're going to hit Winnipeg. I think you're getting the drift here. We're going to hit Hamilton, Toronto, Montreal. We're going to hit them all. We're going to have hopefully, I mean, the radio guys are just so good at talking, I think.
Yeah.
TSN's hard to get, and I get it. They're busy people.
And not just hard to get, but they're also unbiased, which is great. It's great when you're talking about the CFL as a whole.
Yes.
But they're not always going to be at the training camps
exactly.
like
They're not
Julio.
going to see what's happening
and be able to talk a little bit more frankly about their team and their situation that they're in. And
yes.
honestly, that's what CFL fans crave. They want that unbiased, unfiltered opinion.
We might have to get 2 or 3 on, maybe 2 on weekly, do one at 8 and one at 8:30 just to be able to make it happen. Maybe do some interviews during the week and plop them in as well. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated through our social medias.
Yes.
At HSP_pod on everywhere except for Blue Skies, which is just pod.
But I got to say, that bar has been set pretty high by Mr. Caravetta. So,
Yes.
but I know Mark Steven. I have met him. I've seen him, listened to him for years and years and years and years, decades actually. And met him when I was working with the Rod Peterson show. He's so intelligent and he's so passionate about the CFL. It's just an honor, absolute honor to have him on the show next week.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about within the world of the CFL?
Just bring it fucking on. Let's go.
It's Monday.
I'm hyped.
Like, really, we've got
Monday.
tonight? Like, we got what, 4 days?
What is it? We're Wednesday night.
It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Night, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sorry.
Sunday.
What did you just say? Sorry, what did you just... No. Go back. Can you tell me exactly what you just did?
I was counting sleeps.
Okay. Wednesday night? Tuesday night?
Did I say Tuesday?
Then you said Thursday night. So you added extra sleeps in there.
It's just water, folks. Just water.
And who's the guy who only got 4 hours of sleep last night?
Not me. I got my 7.5, 8 hours. I'm good to go.
I woke up to roofers banging on the roof after working a night shift. So. Then I took a 6.5 hour nap today, so I can't really complain. But before I took that 6 hour nap, in the world of Canucks land, I got some
lots of news.
Big news. Not just Canucks land, but also the world of NHL, but mainly with the Canucks to start with this one. The Canucks announced that Tom Willander signed his 3-year entry-level contract, and it won't start until the 25-26 season, meaning there was a possibility that they would burn a year of that contract.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And have him get injected into the AHL right away.
Got you.
But they're able to make this work. I haven't been able to find anything about the bonuses and everything like that. I'm expecting news to come out, trickle out today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Later today to early tomorrow about what that exactly looks like. But it'll be interesting to see, because the big thing from Alvin and Rutherford was that we have a structure, we stick to it.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see if they stuck to that structure or not.
I hope they did. I really do. Because if not, then it sets precedence, and every agent out there was paying attention to what the Canucks were doing here.
Yeah.
Right?
Holy
crap, we have 120 people watching. How cool are we? Seriously, that just makes me giggle. 120 people tuned in to see Giulio Caravatta and two dorks.
And for the first time ever, we are also live on TikTok.
Are we live on TikTok?
We are live on TikTok.
I don't think we are.
Yes, we are. I pulled it up to make sure we are live on TikTok.
Because it doesn't show. It's not showing. So whatever we have on TikTok on top of this, because this is just Twitter,
yes,
Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube.
Yes.
So we're like 5 different places now.
5 different places.
Wow.
However you want to consume us, you can consume us that way. Whether it's, again, Facebook, Twitter.
That was awkward.
For dinner, dessert, whatever you want.
No. Okay. So what else did they talk about from the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, actually, I want to start off with this, because a coaching name was officially taken off the job market today, as Rick Tocchet has officially decided to coach with the Flyers. I think that's going to
be a huge surprise.
Well, to be fair, there's been a lot of steam that he was going to go to Seattle. I had actually written it down in my notes that we were going to talk about it.
Oh, really?
And then earlier today, there was a lot of steam that Seattle had, like, originally when Seattle first started, Tocchet was a number one, a top candidate, and it just didn't work out.
East.
That's the story we've been fed, and that's why I want to talk about it. If he didn't go to Philly, the other 2 places that would, like, really pulled out the red carpet and that were really being considered by Tocchet supposedly was the Kraken and Boston. If he had signed in Seattle, would you be upset?
Oh, I'd be freaking furious if he signed in Seattle.
Would you be upset with Rick Tocchet for signing in Seattle, or would you be upset at the Canucks organization?
Canucks organization, because come on, we've been in existence since 1970.
Yeah.
Right? So what is that now? 55 years?
Yeah.
This is our 22nd coach. Think about that for a second. That's a coach every other year, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a 2.5 year, on average, a 2.5 year tenure.
And I mean, there's some coaches that lasted, like Coach V, I think, was in for 5 or 6.
Yep.
Right.
But we're also getting to a point in the NHL, and it's something that's happens every year where coaches don't last as long as they do anymore.
No, they don't.
Because
the Quinn era, where you stuck with an organization.
Yeah.
Right.
And it makes sense, because it's easier to replace one coach and a system than it is to replace an entire team.
Yes, it does make sense.
And that leads us right into the conversation that we're going to be having next, is that Adam Foote basically announced at the exact same time that Tocchet had signed with the Flyers that Adam Foote is officially the next Canucks head coach. He will be the 22nd head coach in franchise history.
Cool.
Patrick Alvin released a statement saying that Adam is a strong leader, good teacher, and person who knows what it takes to build a great culture and winning attitude. His past experiences on the ice have translated nicely into a coaching style that fits our organization's goals and vision. He has worked extremely hard the past few years, gaining our players' respect and trust for a strong communication and honest, straightforward opinion. He knows this group better than anyone else we interviewed, and has inside knowledge and understanding of what it takes to get us back to where we want to be.
What's the key word there?
His inside knowledge. That he knows this group better than anyone else.
And to get us back to where we want to be, which was one season ago. One short season ago.
No. Whoa. Do not say short season. It's been a long season.
But you know what? I was really, really, really hoping that Manny Malhotra was going to be named. But I had a long conversation with a young lady at work today who is a diehard Canuck fan, along with her dad. Her dad lives on Vancouver Island. And Denise is her name. And she said, why would you take a coach that is working wonders with your kids in your farm team and take him out of that? And it just made sense. Leave Manny where he is, because he's doing such a great job with the kids and the organization, and promote Foote, who knows the system, knows the players, has the players' respect.
100%. Definitely has the players' respect. But who are the players that are going to be coming up and filling in those spots of the Brock Besser that's leaving, the Pia Suter that's leaving? Yeah, we're going to go out and try to trade. It's going to be those young kids who have played and excelled beyond any reasonable measures in Malhotra's system.
But don't we want to have Malhotra there so he can keep doing that with the new kids coming in?
Cool, great. You know what? Let's go win 150 Calder trophies. That's great, 100%. I'm 100% on board. But what the fuck does that do if we don't win a fucking Stanley Cup?
But it's building it from the grassroots. Adam Foote, I listened to an interview, and I don't think it was today. I think it was an interview that was done before with Quinn Hughes after a game, and he was going on about how Adam Foote was the best defensive coach, or the best coach. He just said Adam Foote is the best coach he's ever had.
That was
and they asked him, can you elaborate on that? Can you tell us why he's the best coach you ever had? And he says, because he treats the players the way, if I had a child, I want a coach treating players the way he does it. There's too many coaches out there, these are his words, read between the lines, that scream and yell and try to bully. That doesn't work anymore in the new era of the NHL.
To me, I get it. Again, screaming and yelling doesn't work. And I don't think Rick Tocchet was that type of coach. I truly don't. I
didn't say he was.
You implied it. You implied it by
no,
reading
I was
the
telling you what Mr. Quinn Hughes had said.
Yeah, but you're saying read between the lines, like clearly he was talking about someone, but Hughes has also gone on the record in saying that Rick Tocchet was one of the best coaches he's ever had,
He
and that
loved
he would
Tocchet.
and they still have a personal relationship from all accounts.
Yes. Yes.
So my issue is that, I mean, obviously Rick Tocchet left, and it wasn't the decision of the organization. Moving Foot up is, to me, is basically taking it's Rick Tocchet light. Because Foot doesn't have because Foot does not have any head coaching experience in the NHL.
Okay.
He has coached down in the juniors, has a mediocre record of 56 wins, 58 losses, and 7 overtime losses. Right? Which is fine. To me, that doesn't matter. But you're taking someone who was a part of the issues of this last season. You look around like you're confused. There was a lot of issues this season, and you're taking people who are still involved in those situations because Foot and Tocchet and everyone was involved in trying to calm down the P.D. Miller situation.
So you're thinking, following that thinking, then we get rid of the whole team and all the coaches and the GM and the hockey operation people because they were all involved.
No, but you're also putting.
We should strip Quinn Hughes of his C because he was involved.
Yeah, from all accounts and purposes, that he was the adult in the room with two children and PD and Miller.
Go ahead.
Another issue I have is that Foot has followed Tocchet around as an assistant coach. They clearly work very well together and have the respect of each other.
Yes.
Which means the system that we're going to be playing is going to be very similar, if not identical to the one that Rick Tocchet has implemented. So you said you hope so. So you're happy with less than 20 shots a game.
Go back 1 year.
Still less than 20 shots a game.
And we made it to one game, almost getting by the second round by one game.
100%. But we also had an exorbitant, and we talked about at the time, the shooting rate percentage was literally historic.
So let's say we go forward. It's the same system. God, I hope it's the same system. And we have historic shooting percentages again. And we get into the third round.
Okay, then great. Then I'm wearing egg on my face.
Oh God, I'm gonna make you lick that egg off your feet.
But look at the way the NHL is going. Look at the way the playoffs have been going. Are games being won 1-0 to 1? No, they're being won 6-1. They're being won 4. They're being.
You were just looking a way to get that in, weren't you?
But look, I pulled up all the scores. It's 3-0. It's 5-2. There's one game here that's 2-0. It's 5-2. Like, you need to be able to score 3 goals a game. Taking less than 20 shots a game and 50% of your shots at the point isn't going to get you there deep in the second round.
Okay, Mr. Statman. Statman, go back and what's the average? How many goals did we score per game? Let's wipe out last season. I don't even want to talk about it. Go back to the good season. How many goals did we score per game in that season? Average.
I'm looking it up because I don't obviously have.
I thought you would know these things.
Yeah. Okay. That would have been 2023, 24 because this year was 24, 25, right?
Yes,
yeah,
that's correct.
So it's 3.5 goals a game.
So we have to score more than 3 goals a game. You can't change it now. You said we had to score more than 3 goals a game.
Yeah, 100%. But also, and I brought this up before, and you're burying it, is that the fact that we shot at a 12% shooting rate. That is literally beyond the average of any team that has existed since that stat has been in existence. Not quite. I think
weren't we amazing?
But that's luck. You can't tell me that when you're a percentage like that, it's not sustainable. And this year proved it.
No,
yes, This year there was a lot of other issues. I'm not going to say that there was not other issues. But this team has a lot of places to work on, and running it back with the same system that did not look. It wasn't a fun system to watch this year, which was the same system as last year, but we just weren't getting the
awkward. It wasn't being effective at all.
Exactly.
But that was the how do I say this properly? The cancer in the room was taking over, and it affected all our organs. We couldn't breathe right. Our heart rate was off. When I went to move my left arm, my right arm goes up, and then it looks like my left arm because it's over there, and I get all confused. We can't use last year.
But you can. Then okay, wipe out the year before.
No, we can't wipe out the good year. We can just come on.
And again, we talked about it before, based off of logically thinking. If you look at the 23,
fuck you and your logically thinking.
If you look at the season 23-24 and 24-25 and combine them, that's probably an amalgamation of where our team is. If you average it out over the two seasons,
right?
So you want to run back a wild card or barely better than wild cards system.
We will make the playoffs next year. It is May 14th. Happy birthday, Janice, by the way. You didn't even say happy birthday to your aunt. How rude of you.
Did not know it was her birthday.
I put it on the record. The old man predict we will make the playoffs next year. Now, I brought this up a long time ago. I want to bring it up again just because it's in my head. And you know me, if I don't get it out, it's going to stick in my head. And I'm going to wake up at 2:00 in the morning going, oh, for fudge sakes, Jake didn't let me say this.
Yep.
Bo Horvat.
Yep.
I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Bo Horvat returning and would it make a difference, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know if it's just talk because we're off season for the Canucks and
it's the
daily
type of
shows.
It's the type of player that the Canucks need. It's that solid second line center who's able to put up points, play on the power play, because we don't have that now.
No.
To be fair, I don't even know if we have a first line center. We're paying him $11.6 million starting July 1st.
Well, if not, then they'll have to make a trade early in the season, right? He has to come into camp prepared this year.
With his no movement clause? Yeah, good luck.
That's true.
Like, it completely hamstrings us.
It does. It does. And that's a big worry. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But I keep hearing Bo Horvat's name mentioned with the Canucks. And I'm like,
I think it's, and I don't hate it. I would not be upset if he was to come back. I'd be shocked.
I'd be excited.
I'd be shocked based on the way everything was handled from all accounts on his departure originally.
Yeah.
But that's the type of player we need. We need to find that second line center who can complement the team in winning a mass amount of faceoffs.
For sure.
But has offensive upside as well, not just a defensive center.
Yes, I agree.
I still think that there's going to watch New Jersey. I still think there's a big trade. If the Canucks get wind that Petey's not to their level of where he needs to be at a certain point before July 1, I would not be surprised to see a big swing made to appease Quinn. I don't know how I feel about it because you'd be giving up a lot to make that trade happen.
Would you have to retain salary, do you think?
It depends on the package, to be completely honest.
Yeah. You mentioned Jersey.
Yep.
Who would you bring over?
Oh, Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Like that's to me it's not just an appease Quinn Hughes, even though that's a huge part about it. But it's also changing the identity of your team in one move, right? So even if is it worth because in my estimation, if you're going for Jack, you might as well go for Jack and Luke. Get all three Hughes brothers on the same team.
Well, the thing is, you can get if you can trade for one and let the other one's contract run out, then sign him as a free agent
Yeah.
would be really the only way to do it.
And the only one you're going to do that with is Jack.
My fear, you probably don't remember a player by the name of Cam Neely.
I sure do.
Beautiful Maple Ridge boy.
Yep. Fantastic player for the Bruins.
Who did he play? Who did he get drafted by?
Oh, the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, how many years did he play for the Canucks?
I believe it was 3.
And then we traded his ass away for a bag of pucks and a frozen fucking chicken.
I don't think it was quite that little.
It was that bad. It turned out that bad.
To be fair, it turned out that bad.
Cam Neely turned into a freaking superstar.
Yeah.
That's my worry about trading away.
That's been my worry the whole time.
Yes. You don't trade away your top. You said it. Elite teams don't trade away their elite players. We didn't trade away the Twins.
Yeah.
Right? We don't trade away EP40. I just can't understand the logic, the thought process. No. Just say no. Nancy Reagan said no. You could say no too. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what that reference is to?
Yeah, no to drugs. The whole anti-pot culture, the war on drugs.
Wow,
she's the one who headlined.
I fought you well, didn't I?
That was the Reefer Madness era.
It was.
That
was the original war on drugs.
How will that go?
That didn't last. That didn't work well.
Sorry, I'm just looking it up here. It was a trade for Barry Peterson. Wow. Okay, so we know we got fucking fleeced. I thought the draft pick came back to us. I thought it was Barry Peterson and a first round pick for Cam Neely. No, it was Barry Peterson and Cam Neely and a first round pick. All right. Yeah. Wow.
And what did Barry Peterson do? What kind of career did he have? Just look him up. Just for the shits and giggles.
So in his 6 year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years with the Bruins, he had 2 really great seasons at 100+ points.
Yep.
And then seemed to be injury prone for 1 year, or out for most of the year. And then came back and had 76 points in 79 games, traded to the Canucks, and never broke that 76 points.
Never again.
Played 4 years for the Canucks and then moved on to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
What was his goals in the 4 years he was with us?
Goals 24, 19, 15, and 2. But that was only 16 games where he scored 2 goals. He was traded
now, just for the shits and giggles, go to Cam Neely.
No,
not doing it.
He's literally a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
And that's the concern with trading Petey.
Yes.
It's
you don't do it. You don't do it. And I don't think it'll ever happen. But if you would have told me October of 2024 that we would trade JT Miller, I would have smacked you in the face and told you to stop doing drugs.
Yeah.
Right?
Or that we'd trade our captain in 2023.
Right?
There's precedents that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin make moves.
Yeah.
Have they always worked out? I mean, for the most part.
They haven't been horrible.
I mean, if you look at it, Bo Horvat was traded for a package that we turned into Filip Hronek.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably been one of the best defensive additions we've had since Quinn Hughes.
Yes.
Right? The instant chemistry that they have. The trading JT Miller and turning it around for Marcus Pettersson, Drew O'Connor.
Looks good.
Drew O'Connor looks fantastic.
And wasn't Mancini in there?
Mancini part of that trade as well. Yeah. Right? Was it a top trade? No. But the moves they make have turned out well.
Yes, we can bitch about it and the way they handle coaches, blah, 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 but they seem to be knowing what they're doing. They wouldn't get the job if they didn't.
And I was listening to friends of the show, Sakaris and Price, last week, and they were talking in the Jim Benning era, they handled business matters quite properly. The way they fired coaches, the way they handled the media, they did that quite properly. They had very commonly, they would face the music and have conversations with the media, right? They're on ice decisions, they're hockey player decisions, a lot of question marks and questionable decisions to be set.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this organization, well, they don't handle the people aspect of the business all too well. The way they let go of Bruce Boudreau, the fact that Tocchet doesn't want to come back, the trade of Horvat, the issues with Miller and Petey after signing them both to long-term contracts. But the on-ice decisions that they've made,
Seems
we just
to
went
be,
list through it. They seem to be working.
yeah.
So can you be great at both? I mean, if you tried, probably. But would you rather someone be good at the people aspect or good at the hockey aspect? As a fan, I'd much rather have you be good at hockey and bad at people management.
Because damn it, we need a cup.
Well, that's a
Speaking of
great
cups,
I was going to say, it's like you actually read the rundown this week. Speaking of the Stanley Cup playoffs, let's do a quick playoff update. As some people might have been quite concerned about our understanding of how hockey works, of how playoff series work. But the Florida Panthers tonight won by a score of 6-1, meaning they've won 3 games straight, putting them up 3-2 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who, I mean, I only watched part of the game because as I mentioned, I took a 6.5 hour nap today. And I only watched it in the third period. They looked very defeated.
oh yeah, they're done. Stick a fork in them.
I don't think they're done. I still think this game could easily go to 7. Like,
Sure.
I still think Florida wins.
Yeah.
When you have, again, and we talked about it last week, when you have the depth that Florida has, there's not a lot of teams that can beat you. Brad Marchand is not a bottom 6 fucking forward. I'm sorry. He's a rat. He's a garbage player. And
he's playing their fourth line.
But yeah, I was just reading about the Cam Neely trade. You know that Brad Marchand is one of the only 4 people to pass Cam Neely in scoring for the Boston Bruins in the last 28 years.
Well, it's only because he's played for 40 years.
Who, Marchand?
Yes.
No, he was just. We've had a vendetta out him since 2011, and forget that it was his second year in the league.
I know, and but he still looks. I think he's a vampire.
Well, no,
I figured it out. No, let me finish. I think he's a vampire because he doesn't age.
Well, see, I was thinking it's when you're that short, gravity doesn't have the same effect on you, so you don't age as much. Tall people, look at Andre the Giant, passed away very young. Why? Because he was super tall. Look, all I'm saying, when you're a little rat-faced fuck, maybe you don't age.
Rat-faced fuck. Tell us what you really think.
Oh, the worst part is hate him playing against them. He puts on that Canadian jersey, and I still begrudgingly will cheer for him.
Remember, I hated the fact I had to score. I had to cheer when he scored. So remind our viewers.
Yep.
Our loyal TikTok viewers, what were our predictions last week?
Well, so let's round up. I want to get through. Let's get through the roundup of all the Canadian teams first. So we have Edmonton, who are playing the Golden Knights right now, have a chance to close out the series. They're up 3-1 right now. It is tied partway through the second.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Stars are up 3-1 and have a chance to close it out tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yes.
We had talked about it last week, and just because I know we're going to get caught up in the Florida Leafs after I get through this. Hellebuck does look like classic playoff Hellebuck, where it's just not clicking. I get it. Look at stats. Look at stats. They play him too much and rely on him too much.
Yeah, they did.
And look at what happened with Demko. Why did he get injured? We relied on him too much.
Yeah.
Well, now this year for the Canucks, anyways, we've got Lankinen, who's proven he can play a starter's load. And we've got Demko. Honestly, if they play 41 games each, I think that's perfect.
Yes.
And then we also have the Hurricanes and Capitals, a series that I don't even want to watch. It's bad hockey. It's not fun to watch. It's brutal. But the Canes are up 3-1.
So that's the update.
Yeah.
Now for our loyal TikTok viewers.
Yep.
What was our predictions last week?
We had predicted that. I'll go in reverse order. I don't remember who we picked in. I think we both picked Capitals.
We
in the
picked
Canes
the
Capitals.
Capitals in that game.
It looks like we're wrong there. We both were hesitant, but picked the Jets because we hoped Hellebuck would figure it out.
Yes.
Clearly, he has not. We picked the Oilers, who have a chance to close it out tonight, and we picked the Panthers, who have a chance to close it out on Friday.
Friday, yes.
Friday.
So you took a lot of grief from our loyal TikTok.
We took a lot of grief.
I know, I wasn't there.
Yeah, your face is there and you're talking about it. But there was a lot of comments when the Maple Leafs were up 2-0, even 1-0. Right when we posted the TikTok that, we don't know what we're talking about. Leafs, like the Leafs scoring depth is better than any other team in existence of the history because they're Toronto and they know better. And I let them go. I replied to a couple and was like, look, I get being a diehard fan. I do. Because if anyone...
We're irrational, folks.
We are irrational fans. But to tell me that the Maple Leafs depth is better than the Panthers is a joke. You could tell me that their low end on their lowest level for goaltending from the Leafs is higher than the low end from Bobrovsky because we've seen some really bad play from Bobrovsky in the playoffs before. Okay, cool. I get that. Defensively, I think they're pretty evenly matched on defense. But the forward depth is where the big change happens. Again, we talked about it. Marchand playing in bottom six role is ridiculous. And all of this talk, and I just keep seeing it on Twitter and Reddit and TikTok, where Maple Leaf fans are like, well, they're not calling the penalties. They're not calling the penalties on the Florida Panthers. And it hurts my brain because it's like, I get you're an irrational fan, but when you slow down a play to 1/3 of the speed and someone touches a guy's shoulder with their elbow, that's not a penalty. Or are we forgetting the fact that Evan Rodriguez I think it's Evan Rodriguez. Yeah. Evan Rodriguez in game 1 or 2 got fucking demolished into a board and got called an embellishment penalty. It's absolutely absurd. Ty Domi, like the cross check at the end of the game was one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
And nothing.
No, he got fines.
Oh yeah, but not suspended.
No, and to be fair, I don't think that's a suspendable play.
Okay, I disagree, but
I don't think it's a suspendable play in the playoffs. I don't think that's a suspendable play. I think in regular season, I think that's a game, maybe 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And in my if the way it's always viewed is that 1 game in playoffs is usually worth 2 in regular season, and if it's 1 for sure, maybe 2, I'm okay with a fine.
There you go.
But this woe is us, the woe is me fan base, and this is coming from a Canucks fan who we've burnt down our fucking city because we've lost a fucking playoff game. We've done it twice.
That's, you know why? Because we're not lazy.
But this woe is me bullshit is getting exhausting. You have one of the best players in the goddamn world
Who's not playing well.
who's not playing well at all.
No.
But
no.
Regular season, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Much like Hellebuck. Give Hellebuck all the regular season awards. Give Austin Matthews all of the regular season awards. But something happens in the playoffs where it's not there, and it's fine. It happens. But to blame the refs and not look at Florida's team and say, shit, you know what? Yeah. Are there missed calls? 100%. There's missed calls both ways.
Always.
And there forever will be. You know why? Because refs are humans.
We're human. Jake's taking this personally, folks.
No. But refs are humans. They're not going to watch the game. They're until they start putting someone in a booth, watching the plays on a TV screen with all the angles, and are able to call penalties from there. Penalties are going to be missed.
You can never do that, I don't think. Can you?
Why not? I mean, before 2004, you couldn't review goals. until 2020, whatever year it was. You weren't able to review offsides or goalie interference.
True.
Now
I
you
mean,
like
things change. I get you.
it's the woe is me attitude that the Leafs fans have.
It's
And
just the Leaf fans, period. It's just like,
and like there's a lot of them who very similar to the Canucks are just like, yeah, we're Leafs fans. This is what we should expect. We were up 2-0. We're gonna get reverse swept. Like,
I want to message my old neighbor. He's like the diehard Leaf fans. He's license plate is a Leaf. He's got the logo tattooed on his leg.
yes.
But I'll wait until they actually lose before I do that.
And again, like it could come down. Like Maple Leafs could come back and win game 6.
It's not
tie it up,
over.
and go to game 7.
Yeah.
But this idea that after being up 2-0, that the game was easy and that we needed to recheck our work and figure things out. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I don't care. Like, thank you though. I appreciate it. Like, because all of your hatred and all of your we're gonna win. What are you talking about? We're gonna go 4 straight. The Panthers are a shitty team. It really helped us because that's the most viral video we've had to date.
Yes. I bet you this one's going to be even a little bit better.
I hope so. And I hope the Leafs fans come at me because my team didn't make the fucking playoffs.
And we haven't won a cup.
We've never won a cup. But you know what we have done? We've won in the 3rd round.
Yeah. You better do your research before
No,
you
so I did do my research after last week, and I was mistaken. They've made it to the 3rd round. They've never won in the 3rd round.
Okay.
I take onus on that. See, Leafs fans, when you make a mistake, you apologize and say, you know what? The person, I believe it was Q-Man last week, he was correct. And I appreciate the correction because otherwise you don't get called out on your shit and nothing happens.
Where is Q-Man? There's no chat from Q-Man today.
No, people are busy.
Well, that's no excuse.
I'm sure he'll check it out when he can.
Yeah. Look at that, Jake. We have over 200 viewers for this episode so far.
That's wild. Plus, however many on
TikTok.
On TikTok.
That's crazy numbers. Gotta like you guys. We love you.
And if you want to keep up to date with what's going on TikTok and everything and all of the shenanigans that I get into.
Shenanigans.
Follow us at HSP_pod on all social media platforms. Next week, we're going to have Mark Steven on the show, the voice of the Calgary Stampeders. I wanted to say Flames. I caught myself. I was in NHL mode. The Calgary Stampeders, talking about their training camp. And I believe that's who the Lions are playing on Monday, is it not?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're playing the Calgary Stampeders.
Oh, okay. So we'll be able to talk about the game.
The first preseason game.
Yeah.
So be able to pick his brain, get some more thoughts. And again, keep tuned to our social medias to see when your CFL teams, play-by-play or color commentator or someone from there will be on the show, hopefully before. Again, we'll see if we can try to get it before the season starts or even into the first couple of weeks of the season, just because we're running out of time. The fact that it's the 19th is next week is like this Monday is wild to me. And I don't know what's happened.
Getting old, Jake.
I know.
Okay.
But
great show.
Have yourselves a wonderful week. We will see you guys here next Thursday, the 22nd, where we will be chatting with Mark Steven. Have yourselves a wonderful week. Mwah. Goodbye. Peace.